Augusta. Visit olympusgranite.com.
When you've been hurt in a car wreck, don't count on 3 magic wishes. Just call all nines. George St. Injury Lawyers has the experience to help you get your money faster. Call us nights, weekends, 24/7. It's all nines.
Closed captioning for News 12 is brought to you by Kenneth Nugent. From the station that's on your side, this is News 12 at 6 o'clock.
Taking a live look near exit 190, where some road closures mean you might need to leave a little early for work. What drivers need to know as the Lewiston Road Widening project continues, coming up.
Plus, a suspect in the Aiken double murder at the day's end, still on the run. A look into his past shows it is not the first time violent crime has been charged with him, but more on the effects repeat offenders have in our families in just a bit. First up, a lack of mental health resources in Augusta, an issue we've covered here for years. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office says they've responded to more than 1,400 calls involving mental episodes or suicide from January until June of this year.
That puts us on pace to pass last year's total of nearly 2,700 calls. With an uptick, we wanted to know if there's also an uptick on the focus on mental health resources here in our area. Craig Allison live in the newsroom for us. He spent the day looking for resources available right now. What did you find?
Well, the issue is supply and demand. There are a number of different resources. It's just what's actually available. Even one of Augusta's newest and central resources, the Hub, which we reported back in January Thrive would be a part of, is still in the process now of developing a mental health program.
Sometimes for people to really engage, they need to see representation.
Natalie Bryan is an Augusta social worker and is putting on her own wellness weekend on July 16th with more than 20 other organizations at the Augusta Library. July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, and it's all the more important to show what's available to those who feel unseen.
If we can kind of try to level the playing field for people to feel like they are getting some relief or some reprieve or know what happens next, it helps to reduce some of that anxiety.
It's the same push that Augusta University emphasizes. They have a number of free single, family, LGBTQ, and Clinica Latina programs, but staffing and insurance troubles can push back available appointments by months.
A lot of families who come to an emergency department in Augusta find that they end up going to Atlanta or Savannah because there aren't enough local beds here.
For the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, they've worked with commissioners in the past 6 months to bring back help from social workers to handle what's projected to be nearly 3,000 mental health calls this year.
I think the more interconnected we are, the more we can support people as they're transitioning, because some people can't afford mental health care.
Talking with Chief Patrick Clayton with the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, the number of mental health calls isn't the full picture. Some of these calls can take up to an hour to thoroughly respond to, which hits harder during peak hours at nights and on weekends when they have a lot less staff.
Craig, thanks for the live update from our newsroom. Going to give you a live look outside as we shift to weather.
It's forecast in just about 10 minutes.
The Aiken County Sheriff's Office still looking for 20-year-old Hashim Glover, accused of murdering 2 men at the Days Inn Hotel. That shooting happened just over a week ago on Columbia Highway North.
We did some digging and found he's been charged in several other crimes in Aiken and Saluda counties. Our Claire Allen live in studio, and Claire, you spoke with the Victims Witness Assistance Program. When there's a repeat offender involved, it really has to feel like a slap to the face to these victims' families.
When repeat offenders are involved, there's a lot of anger involved too, and we found Hashim Glover is a repeat offender. In June of last year, he was arrested for burglary, kidnapping, weapon charges, and assault and battery. 3 months later, another arrest for larceny in Saluda County. Just 4 months ago, he was arrested again in Aiken for burglary, grand larceny, and weapon charges. Now, he is the prime suspect in a double murder.
The thing that strikes me the most is it never gets easier.
Angela Key has worked with the Victims Witness Assistance Program in Aiken since 1997, and over the years says the pain people feel when losing a loved one to murder is indescribable.
the grief is so raw.
She adds the Victims Witness Assistance Program acts as a liaison between the attorney and the victims' families because sometimes it's too much for the families to handle alone.
In cases like the ones we've seen here recently, the families are going through such a traumatic process that they're not always able to do everything they want to do.
Aiken County had 2 different shootings happen within days of each other, taking the lives of 3 teenagers and 2 men.
But I think our challenge is the same. As a victim advocate, you want to give people all you can give them, knowing that it's not going to be enough, knowing that nothing you do is going to bring their loved one back.
The motive in the murders is still unclear. Investigators say one could be gang-related and the other might be a robbery. Tomorrow, the Georgia Attorney General will be in Evans speaking on the issue of gun violence. I will be there too.
Okay, thanks for that, Claire. Taking a live look now over the gateway to Grovetown near exit 190, where you might see some more lane closures and some more delays over the next week. Crews are working near the I-20 westbound and eastbound on and off ramps as they widen Lewiston Road. But our Nick Veland joins us live near that construction. So when are these closures going to cause us the biggest issue as drivers out there? Already a busy spot.
Now here's a look right now on Lewiston Road going all the way to the I-20 ramps. This area has been dealing with some construction for quite some time, and right now steps to widen some of the roads are now underway. 3 of the 4 exit ramps will have 1 lane of traffic shut down for the rest of the week, but 1 lane of the ramp going to Lewiston Road from the westbound I-20 ramp will be shut down for several months. This is all part of the new diverging diamond traffic pattern we've been telling you about for years, with the goal to eventually turn that stop and start traffic into continuous motion. Right now with construction, some people are just detouring around the exit.
I try to find shortcuts so I could avoid it, definitely, especially Lewiston Road. I just try to go the back ways if I can.
And she worries about her kids around this area.
I don't want my kids driving out here if they can avoid it.
But she knows it's short-term pain for long-term gain.
Expansion is going to be definitely needed, especially with the growth of Grovetown.
When Calvin Lewis was a kid, this entire area was just woods. He thinks it's a great project. He just wishes the county hadn't put the cart before the horse.
Widening the roads should come before developing, but it never works that way.
Lewis claims that he drives through this area 50 times a day, and there's no way to fight it.
You have to be patient. I mean, eventually, it's going to catch up.
Columbia County says to expect more delays than usual when traveling throughout this area, and construction workers will be working close to roads, so remember to drive as slowly as you can and always be cautious.
Always good advice and certainly worth the wait out there. Nick, thanks a lot. New today, the Burke County Sheriff's Office identifying the man found dead yesterday morning on Watkins Pond Road. Deputies say he is 58-year-old Morris Harden. They say when they found the body, he appeared to have a gunshot wound. Officials say he does not have any ties or connections to Burke County. Harden was last seen leaving his home in Augusta on Dyer Drive. Right now, the Sheriff's Office is investigating his death as a homicide. If you saw Harden in Burke County before his death or have any information in this case, call the Sheriff's Office there. Well, it's been just over a year since Aiken's Equine Horse Rescue caught fire, destroying this property along with hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of supplies. All this happening in April of last year on Glenwood Drive.
The good news today, officials with the rescue say a groundbreaking for the new center is coming later this month. Shovels hit the dirt Friday, July 29th at 10 o'clock in the morning. That new rescue will have an 8-stall barn with 2 medical stalls, an office, and more. And on top of helping sick or injured horses, the center will also host educational events for kids, veterans, and the community.
New this evening, a fire destroying a mail truck in the Goshen Plantation subdivision in Augusta, just a couple of blocks away from Goshen Elementary to give you your bearings here. This fire started just after 2 in the afternoon. A witness telling us the truck looks like a total loss. One neighbor's tree and mailbox completely charred by all this. We've also reached out to the post office to find out what you can do if you were expecting an important mail delivery in that area. South Carolina health experts warning about a rare and aggressive tick species that could kill your pets and make you seriously sick. They say the Asian longhorn tick reproduces rapidly, which helps them travel in bigger packs. Last month, a group of thousands were found on cattle in York County. The same ticks were also spotted in Georgia.
Concern really is that this tick could overwhelm livestock or dogs or people. And so you could be out walking in the field with your dog and you could get, hundreds of ticks that bite on you. They're very aggressive feeders.
You cannot be too careful in checking, so if you think you found one of these ticks, officials want you to send it to them in a Ziploc bag, a vial or a Ziploc bag to a lab in Colombia. They also want information on where and when you found it, so take some notes, and if it was on a person or an animal. Information on where to send it is up and running right now on our website, so keep a sharp eye out.
Lovely, just what we need. Okay, a nationwide mission to honor fallen officers, including a few from our area. Coming up, families thankful the end of watch ride is continuing their loved one's legacy.
And we are going to see some breaks from the heat this week, but rain chances are going to remain high. We'll have that full forecast next.
Riley, thanks very much. Every day our law enforcement takes on their jobs knowing they might not make it back home to their families. But in the pandemic, the risk was even greater with COVID taking several of our local heroes from us.
Corporal Gregory Campbell in Richmond County, Officer Stephen Jones in Barnwell, and Officer Dustin Beasley in North Augusta all died from coronavirus. Our Real Vogue shows us the group traveling across the country to honor all the officers we've lost.
This parking lot is filled with people who knew Dustin Beasley, fellow officers, his police chief, his wife, and son.
It was great that we could all be together and honor him together.
For Candace Beasley, it's emotional seeing this trailer roll up.
It was overwhelming, that's for sure. Seeing all these officers that lost their lives this year, it was overwhelming to see my husband's face on it, especially walking with my child.
We're talking about a mother that has a young child that now is left alone without the ability to have somebody to even just talk to.
Jagrut Shah created End of Watch Ride to Remember to honor fallen officers. They're taking this trailer to hundreds of departments across the country. It's covered with more than 600 faces. Each one is an officer who lost their life last year.
It's humbling to all of us. We're all volunteers. We give up our summers to do this.
And if you ask Dustin's wife what he would think of all this,
he would hate it. Absolutely hate it. He would hate all the attention. He did not do it for the fame.
He did it because he loved to serve. And in this parking lot, those who loved him made sure Dustin Beasley would not be forgotten. In North Augusta, Will Volk, on your side.
Shaw says they also connect families of fallen officers with other families going through this so they can be a support to each other.
And you can see how important it is to those families, even children showing up to put a flower there by that loved one's
Not
face.
Forgotten. Yeah. All right, still to come in sports, Ronald Acuna Jr. gets some much-needed company in L.A. The All-Star roster is here. Alyssa Lyons has it all next.
On your sideline, sports brought to you by the Hawk Law Group.
Well, we are just a week away from the MLB's most star-studded event. We finally have our rosters. 5 Braves will join manager Brian Snitker at Dodger Stadium on the National League side. 3-time All-Star Ronald Acuna Jr. will be joined in the dugout by first-years Dansby Swanson, William Contreras, Travis d'Arnaud, and pitcher Max Fried. Acuna Jr. received the most votes out of any National League player, earning the starting spot in outfield. Contreras will start at DH in place of Phillies Bryce Harper, while Swanson and d'Arnaud lead the return.
I'd like to bring the whole team with me. I feel like each guy, has had basically a big role in why we've been successful this year. It's something you definitely work for, your whole life.
The Braves' 5 All-Stars are the most for the franchise since 2011. And while they're making some moves at home, today the reigning champions acquired the 35th pick in the Sunday's draft from the Kansas City Royals. The pick comes in exchange for prospects Drew Waters and Andrew Hoffman alongside third baseman C.J. Alexander. Just before we go, Jack Nicklaus will join the ranks of Benjamin Franklin and Bobby Jones as an honorary citizen of St. Andrews, Scotland for the 150th anniversary of the Open this weekend. The 18-time major champ won Open titles in 1966, 70, and 78.
All right, thanks for that, Alyssa. New information tonight about problems at a local river that killed 1,600 fish, at least. Happened at the Little River in Wilkes County last month. According to Georgia's Environmental Protection Division, 1,696 fish that they found died around June 16th along a 2-mile stretch of the river. That EPD report says hundreds of dead fish were spotted along the highway on the 47 bridge in Wilkes County. They say pollution in the river is to blame. The report described, quote, a gray sludge sitting in the water. Investigators reached out to McAvoy Farms about it, and that investigation is still open.
And the Savannah Riverkeeper has a water quality alert out on their website for Lake Olmsted. A sample from Thursday showing high amounts of E. coli in the water there, which is a bit surprising because of all the dredging work they've just completed over there at the lake. But for now, the Riverkeeper says it's not safe to swim at Lake Olmsted, at least until the next testing, which will happen Thursday. Those results released by Friday afternoon. We'll keep an eye on that for you. We have an update this evening on the new rideshare trips we told you about for women in Augusta. They say there was a bit of a hiccup with background checks, and that postponed their launch date of last week. But they're live starting today. They're going to offer rides wherever you need to go with women drivers. This is made to pick up other women offering a safe and secure ride. Since they're new to the area, they ask that you reserve your ride. We have the link to do that on our website and how to download the app also on our website.
Well, we just got done with a fairly stormy weekend. It looks like this weekend coming up is going to be very similar. Luckily, we will dodge the heat, stay away from the 90s Saturday and Sunday. Now look at that full 7-day just after the break.
What?
Luckily, not much heat. Only got to deal with the 90s one day.
Today was awesome. I mean,
yeah.
went
Low
to the kids on
80s.
the walk and you could actually like breathe. It was
Absolutely.
fantastic.
We need the
Coolest
rain.
day we've seen in like a month.
We appreciate the 80s. We really
Absolutely.
do. Let them stick around a little while longer.
Yes, sir.
That's going to wrap things up for News 12 at 6 o'clock. Our next live update, 7 o'clock over on NBC 26.
Then we'll see you back here tonight at 11.